Hey guys, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and it is Sunday, so we are doing breaches of the week. And I would like to thank a whole bunch of my different viewers as I'm going through these, because there are a few of you guys that just keep sending me notifications for data incidents and breaches and all of that, and I greatly appreciate it. And if you're watching this and you see something that is a data breach or an incident, feel free to send it to me on any platform that you watch me on. I check them all, and I really always appreciate the heads up from my viewers and my followers and all of that. So guys, thank you very much. Now this first breach comes from Deepak Gupta, and Deepak, thank you very much for this. We are starting in Australia. Now, almost 100,000 Australians' private details were exposed in an attack against Westpac's Pay ID. Westpac is obviously a major financial institution there, and I quote from their spokesperson, Westpac can confirm that we had detected misuse of the new payment platform's Pay ID functionality, and we took additional preventative actions which did not include a system shutdown. No customer bank accounts were compromised as a result. There has been no further inappropriate activity detected. And so if you are an Australian and you are using Westpac or Pay ID, you might want to check into that. And Deepak, thank you very much for that tip. Moving on, these next literally 4 tips come from Christophe Fowlon. And Christophe, thank you as always. You're a great follower. I really appreciate the look, or the messages rather. Now, the first one is Quest Diagnostics. Now, Quest Diagnostics is a major lab testing organization or company in the United States. So basically, if you need a blood test, Quest is one of the few places that you're going to go for this, or one of the few places that will analyze this. They are saying that medical data and financial information for nearly 12 million people may have been compromised in a data breach because their billing firm got hit. Now, the billing firm is American Medical Collection Agency, or the AMCA, and they basically got notified Quest. They notified Quest on May 14th about a security incident. AMCA discovered that an outsider had infiltrated its web payment system and accessed data belonging to other companies, including Quest Diagnostics, which leads us into the next data breach. Quest's major competitor in the United States is LabCorp, and guess what LabCorp is saying? 7.7 million of their medical patients may have been compromised thanks to the AMCA. So, quintessential supply chain hack, here we go. If you have done anything with Quest or LabCorp over the years, you might want to look into this. The next one is going to be the University of Chicago Medicine. Now, personal information for more than 1.6 million potential and existing University of Chicago Medicine donors were exposed by a misconfigured and unprotected Elasticsearch server that was left open to the internet without a password. Now, this database was 34 gig in size and contained 1.679 million records, which could have been accessed by anyone who knew where to look for it. So if you have anything to do with the University of Chicago Medicine, heads up to you. Moving on, we're going to be talking about the Ricoh Theta camera. Now, this is a camera that takes like 360-degree pictures. They're actually pretty cool. I've seen one in action, but millions of photos taken by Theta camera owners, some private and unlisted, were left exposed after security researchers found an open database without a password. And basically, they found this leaky database and reported the exposure to Ricoh, which then secured the database within 24 hours of being notified. Now, Ricoh has sold thousands of these 360-degree cameras since 2014, and if you own one of these, you know that you can upload and share your photos using Ricoh's cloud, and that was what was hit. So if you are a Ricoh Theta owner, heads up, your information was exposed if you are using the cloud with your camera. And the next one, oh yes, and Christophe, thank you. Those were everything that Christophe sent me this week. It is greatly, greatly appreciated. And finally, I'd like to thank Craig McHugh. He sent me this one, and Craig, thank you for the heads up on this. This is actually pretty interesting too. Now, we are heading back to Australia, and we're talking about the Australia National University, or ANU. They just got hit by a massive data hack with unauthorized access to significant amounts of personal details dating back almost 2 decades. Now, whoever did this accessed ANU systems illegally in late 2018, but the breach was only detected about 2 or 3 weeks ago or so. Now, this is according to a statement by the university. Now, based on the student numbers over time, as well as staff turnover, the university has estimated that approximately 200,000 people were affected by the breach, obviously the majority of those being Australians. And I quote, "Depending on the information you have provided to the university, this may include names, addresses, dates of birth, phone numbers, personal email addresses, addresses, emergency contact details, tax file numbers, payroll information, bank account details, and passport details. Student academic records were also accessed. And so if you have anything to do with the ANU, the Australian National University, you may be affected possibly by an identity scam. And so Deepak, Christoph, and Craig, thank you very much for those heads up. I greatly appreciate it. And again, if any of you guys listening to this or watching this have any kind of tips, please feel free to send them to me. It is always greatly appreciated, and you will also get a shout out. And moving on, here are some other breaches that happen throughout the world this week. Next up, we are going to the little country of Malta. Now, personal data of residents at the St. Vincent de Paul residence in Lucca was basically available online and also mistakenly emailed to all staff members. Now, sources told the Times of Malta that a file containing the personal data of hundreds of inmates was mistakenly, so apparently this is a prison, was mistakenly emailed to all employees at the elderly people's home. So I don't know. Interestingly enough, the Times of Malta uses the term inmates when they're talking about an elderly people's home. I'm hoping that's an English translation issue. Now, for some time, the information was also available on the St. Vincent de Paul residence website, and this published data included ID card numbers, dates of birth, addresses, and information on when and how they were admitted and the ward that they were in. So heads up, if you have a loved one or yourself are in the St. Vincent de Paul residence in Malta, you may have a problem. Moving on, we're going to be talking about a cryptocurrency exchange called GateHub. Now, cyber criminals stole 3.2 million Ripple coins. That's worth about $10 million from users at GateHub. GateHub has responded and is attempting to repair that. I don't have much more information beyond that. And finally, and what may be the most damning data breach of the week, we're going to be talking about Tech Data. Now, this is a major supplier of technology equipment. You know, we can buy servers there, software, all this kind of stuff. Now, many of you guys watching this probably use Tech Data because a lot of you guys are nerds like me in some way, shape, or form. Whatever your field is, you're probably in technology. Now, the company's log management server was leaking personal data, and not a little bit of data, 264 gigabytes worth. Now, this data isn't inconsequential. A sample seen by TechCrunch, who broke this, contained names, postal addresses, email addresses, job titles, invoicing data, receipts, partial payment information like card type, cardholder names, and expiration dates. Now, while the card numbers were obfuscated, which is good, hopefully they were hashed, the data wasn't encrypted, and it's possible that there's more than just this, because obviously this just broke, and sifting through 264 gigabytes of data is a very time-consuming thing. Now, many IT providers and large companies use Tech Data, which potentially gives hackers a roadmap to basically break into you. So let's say your company has decided to cut corners and buy the cheapest possible firewall that they can that we can easily break through. Now hackers may know, oh, X company, they're buying really cheap packet filters, they're not buying UTM firewalls, and let's go ahead and go to work on those things. You don't know where this data is going to go, but that's obviously a very serious issue. And many of the IT providers that Tech Data caters, these tech providers cater to large and massive corporations, so this could potentially be a very, very serious issue in the long term. So Tech Data, I believe, has locked this down right now, and hopefully this will be the last we hear of it. But quite frankly, if this data is dumped into the dark web, I highly, highly doubt that this will be the last that we hear of it. So those are your breaches of the week. Were you affected? Let me know. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP. And as always, stay safe and stay online. Thanks, guys.